The samurai were the heroes of ancient Japan. Still today, their legend continues. The samurai sword is one of the greatest fighting weapons of all time, perfectly engineered for close-up combat, renowned for its deadly cutting edge. Modern science can now reveal the technical excellence of this ancient craft.
It is certainly an object of absolute beauty from both an aesthetic and a scientific point of view.
But can it explain the mystery of how these swords were made?
The great swordsmiths of Japan were steeped in the mysterious traditions of the metal. They were able to transform this mystery into something that was very, very real, the samurai sword.
It is said that the sword is the soul of the samurai. Can modern science uncover its secrets? Coming up on Nova, the secrets of the samurai sword.
Major funding for NOVA is provided by the following. The Dow Chemical Company, finding the bond between chemistry and humanity. And by David H. Koch. And
discovering new knowledge. HHMI.
And by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
By day, Midori Tanaka is just another face in the crowd on the busy streets of modern Japan. Working as a mild-mannered receptionist for a mid-sized electronics company. By night, however, she is anything but mild-mannered. Midori is an expert swordswoman, descendant of a long line of samurai warriors. The samurai were noble warriors of medieval Japan, similar to the knights and noblemen of Europe. During this 600-year era beginning in the 12th century, Japan was ruled by regional warlords. The samurai were part army, part aristocracy, and at times freelance mercenaries. They lived by a strict code of honor that demanded rigid discipline and unfailing loyalty. Their sword is one of the greatest fighting weapons of its day, if not of all time. It could cut a man in half with a single stroke. Today, swordsmen and women test their mettle on bamboo and rolled straw. Not easy to cut with just any knife. And similar, it is said, to the toughness of cutting through human bone. The sharpness and strength of the sword is legendary. Legends are one thing, but how does the quality of the samurai sword stand up to the test of time? Mike Notice, a samurai sword expert, is a professor at Lehigh University, a leading materials engineering school that has an important history with the once great American steel industry.
If you look at the blade itself and you look at the surface appearance, you see one level of beauty. But with the instruments that we have available, we can go to different structural levels. And we can see the care and the fabrication capability that these craftsmen had to make an object of absolute beauty from both an aesthetic and a scientific point of view.
This remarkable weapon reveals a highly developed metal-making skill that dates back more than 1,000 years to 900 AD. The electron microscope can now reveal the quality of this ancient steel, as well as some of the secrets of its skillful engineering.
And this is the boundary, the interface.
Embedded deep into the material of the blade are different types of steel, each contributing to the sword's deadly effectiveness and its unique design.
There are two types of blade weaponry. One is a piercing instrument, an épée or a fencing foil, for example. The other is a saber or the Japanese sword, where you slash. You use your whole body in order to apply the largest force that you can. The unique aspect of the Japanese sword is that the craftsmen were able to put the right materials in the right place to get optimum properties for the entire object.
In our common understanding, we think of metals as strong, but in fact, strong metals have other important characteristics. Controlling these characteristics requires expert formulation. So how, in the absence of understanding this science, were the ancient craftsmen of Japan able to achieve such technical excellence? In the small village of Shimane in southwest Japan, they still make the metal ore for samurai swords, the same way it has been done for centuries. In earthen smelting furnaces called tataras. Akira Kihara is one of the last remaining tatara masters in the world. He won't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights as he watches the furnace create steel that is the quality needed for the world's sharpest swords. This special steel, called tamahagane, is made from iron ore sand, collected in local rivers, and charcoal.
Within an hour, the iron sand sinks to the bottom, to what we call the bed of fire. When we look at the bed of fire, we can clearly see from the color whether or not it has become tamahagane.
The traditional Japanese smelting furnace is constructed out of clay, with a row of inlets along the sides. Air is blown into the furnace with bellows that drive the temperature up to nearly 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Think of this as a very hot oven, because at this stage, making steel is a lot like cooking.
Steel is basically iron, and to that you add a little bit of carbon, and the carbon